Good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. Michael Loveless. I'm glad you're all here. I didn't know if we would have enough room for everyone, but we'll make the most of it. What I want to talk about tonight and get some feedback is about water. Water covers 3/4 of the planet, and it covers 3/4 of our body, unless, of course, we're dehydrated. When we're born, we're about 90% water. As we get older, because we lose our sense of thirst, many people don't replenish the water that we need. So you'll see old folks' homes, they'll be smelling of ammonia, and before death, some of these people are 45 to 50% dehydrated. And that's one of the main causes of all our diseases, because dehydration leads to acidity, which leads to all kinds of symptoms and complications, because the body cannot function without water. Every single physiological action takes place with water. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with the state of water in this area, but there was an article about water saying that arsenic, chromium, selenium, and uranium has been found in wells in areas like Piedmont and so on. And some of you may have seen the Aaron Brockovich movie where they speak about chromium-6, hexavalent chromium. And in Norman, in that area, it's 26 times worse. And the city fathers are trying to do something about it. But what people have to do is get at least a filter to take that out. In any event, there is a problem. And we as individuals have to resolve it. No government can actually solve it. We also have a problem which many people don't realize. Chlorine is what's used to purify, supposedly, or at least decontaminate our water. Chlorine was used as a poison gas in World War I, and it's known that it is a poison. But on the other hand, if we don't chlorinate the water, we'd be subject to all kinds of bacterial infections. So at this point, it's not the only way of cleaning and disinfecting our water, but it's the cheapest, which is why it's used. But if you do have tap water in your home and you're drinking from it, it behooves everyone to get a filter to remove the chlorine, as well as fluoride. Fluoride is another topic we won't go into. But there are all hundreds and hundreds of chemicals and poisons that are in our tap water that are not taken out. In fact, I'll just read briefly from this. It's an article called Chlorine, Cancer, and Heart Disease. The addition of chlorine to our drinking water began in the 1800s. By 1904 was the standard in water treatment. For the most part, it remains so today. We don't use chlorine because it's the safest or even the most effective means of disinfection. We use it because it's the cheapest. In spite of all our technological advances, we essentially still pour bleach in our water before we drink it. The long-term effects of chlorinated drinking water have just recently been recognized. According to the U.S. Council of Environmental Quality, cancer risk among people drinking chlorinated water is 93% higher than among those whose water does not contain chlorine. So that's almost 100%. There's a Dr. Joseph Price wrote a book in the late 60s titled Coronaries, Cholesterol, Chlorine. And he concluded that nothing can negate the incontrovertible fact, the basic cause of atherosclerosis and resulting entities such as heart attacks and stroke is chlorine. What I want to emphasize here is prevention. The water is getting so bad that water treatment facilities keep adding more and more chemicals so that it can pass governmental guidelines. So in Tulsa, for instance, recently chloramines have been added, which is a byproduct of ammonia, to the chlorine. And in spite of many protests, chloramines have many, many problems because it does not evaporate as the way chlorine might. In any event, let's go on to something else. There was a man named Dr. Otto Warburg. In 1931, he received the Nobel Prize. He proved that cancer cannot exist in an alkaline, oxygenated body. The cause of cancer is excess acidity. Quote, cancerous tissues are acidic, whereas healthy tissues are alkaline. Water splits into hydrogen and hydroxyl ions. If there's an excess of hydrogen, it's acidic. If there's an excess of hydroxyl ions, it is alkaline. All normal cells have an absolute requirement for oxygen, but cancer cells can live without oxygen, a rule without exception. Deprive a cell of its oxygen for 48 hours and it may become cancerous. Dr. Warburg has made it clear that the root cause of cancer is oxygen deficiency, which creates an acidic state in the human body. Now, what I'm going to show are the different qualities that these beverages have. We have tap water, reverse osmosis water, smart water, Propel or Gatorade, and soft drinks, and this water that we call Kangen water, which is made by this device. It's a Japanese technology. Have you ever heard of different healing spas of the world like Lourdes, France, or Tlacote, Mexico, Northern Germany, places like that? These places have been known for centuries for having healing qualities. Now, the Russians were very skeptical because they're good atheists. I don't know if that's an oxymoron maybe, but they have been atheists traditionally. And 60 years ago, they wanted to do research in these healing spas. They said, why are people getting well? They're drinking this water, they're bathing in it, and they developed this technology that resulted in this machine. The Japanese perfected it about 40 years ago. And it's based on the fact that the healing spas of the world have three properties. It's alkaline, it's antioxidant, and it's microclustered. So, in order for water to be maximally healthy for our bodies, to bring the nutrients to the cells, and to take the toxins out of our cells, it has to have those three properties. Because you can make alkaline water by adding lye. In fact, that's what our water treatment systems do. They add lye. Now, I don't know about you. Would you want to drink lye? I mean, straight? No. Well, they don't give it to you straight. They dilute it. This is what we have in tap water. They are required. They are mandated. The government mandates that water has to be alkaline. But it's not an antioxidant, and it's not microclustered. So let's take a look. I'm going to use these pH drops. Have any of you ever had a swimming pool? Before you swim, you kind of test it, right? And this is what we use, pH drops. Just leave this here. Dasani, made by Coca-Cola. They actually sell more of this now in the world than Coca-Cola. And it's simply tap water that has been put through what's called reverse osmosis. It's generally clean, but it's not guaranteed. Ozarka, natural spring water. Does anyone know where this comes from? Have a guess. Where do you think it comes from?
Well, based on the name, one would think the Ozark Mountains.
See, you've fallen prey to Madison Avenue. It actually comes from 9 wells in downtown Oklahoma City.
Okay.
Now, isn't that encouraging? This Propel, your energy drink, they say it's an antioxidant. We'll see if it is or not. This represents any soft drink. This happens to be Sprite. Okay. Let me just go back here. Alkalinity and acidity refers to pH. The range is from 0 to 14. 0 isn't here, but 14 is there and 0 is over here. 7 is neutral. Our blood has to be 7.365. That would be about here. If it's not, the body will take minerals out of our bones, our teeth, our connective tissue to bring it to 7.365, 7.374, around there. So if we are not getting alkaline food, alkaline water, if we're overstressed, we're going to be pushed this way in a direction of disease and sickness and eventual death. So this is like the Richter scale. It's logarithmic, which means one number in each direction will be 10 times more than the previous number, just to give you an idea. So if you have a pH of 6, it's 10 times more alkaline and neutral. A pH of 5 is 100 times more. pH of 4 is 1,000 times more. pH of 3 is about 10,000 times more acidic. And contrarily, it's 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000 alkaline. So let's see what we have here. See 4 drops here. That's, forgot to put my smart water in. Duh. Okay. Okay, so as you can see, that's about a pH of 5. And that's where cancer thrives, in that area. This is just a little higher, but it's still extremely acidic. This has, they probably added a few minerals, so it's still acidic, but not as acidic as these. This antioxidant, supposedly, is way over here. And, of course, your Sprite is extremely acidic. Now let's see what our Kangen is. This is the 9.5 pH. So it's very alkaline. Take a top off. Can't let them out. Isn't that beautiful?
Yes.
See the difference? Our company has a motto, and we say, if we change our water, we can change our life. You switch from acidic drinks and you can become alkaline. Of course, it helps to modify your diet too. Get off the junk food, processed food, try and eat more raw, steamed vegetables, fruit. Let's see about Propel, Gatorade. That's kind of stubborn, isn't it? Of course, Sprite, expect the same thing, right? So, what it will take to make this come to this level, not even alkaline, but just here, will be 32 cups to make that neutral. Same thing with sodas. The Camelot Cancer Treatment Center in Tulsa calls this cancer in a can. So if you love yourself, love your family, get off this poison. As far as these other waters go, I won't say it's poison, but it's dead. The thing that makes this water alkaline are minerals. Because even if it's done properly and it's clean, it's dead water. The Japanese call it dead water because it has no minerals.